Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to the ECM Podcast. I'm Caroline Fontanieu, and I'm very happy to host this series that will take you behind the scenes of new music on ECM Records. In this new episode, I met Joe Lovano and his Paramount Quartet, Julian Lage, Asante Santi de Briano, and Will Calhoun, in front of an audience in New York City to celebrate the first album of that band on ECM with a listening session on treble clef audio speakers. We talked about magic, connections, trust, and so much more.
Thank you, Caroline, for setting all this up. Let's have a nice round of applause for Caroline and ECM Records.
ECM Records.
And Treble Clef Audio. And Carl Hansen and Sons. We're thrilled to be here. Thanks for joining us. We're going to share this music with you, which is just being released. And I'm so proud of this quartet, some of the greatest improvisers in music to date. Julian Lage. Asante Santi de Briano. And Will Calhoun.
And Joe Lovano. Joe, let's start.
Okay.
You describe something magical that unfolds the more you play together. Yeah, what does that feel like in real life? What does that mean when you say something magical?
Well, when you play together and breathe together and explore music, you go to this special place that can't be described. We play with a melodic expression in a polytonal, polyrhythmic fashion. That is a magical place to be. You have to listen and try to breathe with each other and follow the sound and let it take you somewhere. We're not playing a repeat of a rehearsal. We play within the repertoire, which we have a pretty deep repertoire as individuals, but as a unit, we could segue from composition to composition in a really magical way without saying a word, just suggesting a key, a tonal center, or a melody, or a rhythmic feel that takes us somewhere. To create and play notes nobody wrote within the song forms of some of the things that we're exploring. For me, that's the only way to play music.
That's the magic. You called it Paramount Quartet. When did you realize that it was not yet like another project, but this quartet?
Well, when we came together the first time, I met Julian some years ago.
Yeah, you guys go way back.
Well, we go to a beautiful moment around 1999 or something, when I played in Oakland, California at Yoshi's with Bobby Hutcherson and within the McCoy-Tyner Quintet with Sharnette Moffett and Billy Higgins on drums. And Julian's father, I think, brought him to hear the music and came backstage. And I remember first meeting Julian, and Bobby Hutcherson was there. If you know who Bobby Hutcherson was, one of the master vibes players ever. And Bobby looks at Julian and he said, "Oh, I've been hearing about you." And he was about 14 or something. He was already like, people were talking about this young man.
That's great.
Do you remember, Julian?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing Joe when I was that age was life-changing. Revelation, really. That whole band and the way you guys played with one another, that
was my first time playing with McCoy-Tyner, and it was
Jeez.
quite and then we played together. The last gig was in 2018 when he turned 80 at the Library of Congress. So I played with him a lot through those years, different formations.
Yeah.
With Bobby 2 or 3 times.
Why was it the right moment to finally do this together, since you knew each other for over 25 years?
Well, since then, we met a couple times, maybe at the Stanford Jazz Workshop. We played a house party with my wife Judy Silvano, who's here today, vocals. And,
Hi, Judy.
we played a very informal little gig, calling tunes, and then I have the Gary Burton Chair in Jazz Performance at Berklee College of Music, and Julian came and was placed in one of my ensembles.
That's right.
I don't know what year it was.
I don't know, but
2007 or
around there. That sounds right.
somewhere in that. So we played together then and really got close. Through the years, we've been speaking about trying to do something, and then I had the great fortune to play trio with Santi and Will. Will was organizing a Puerto Rican Relief Fund benefit he could speak on, and he called me to play trio with him and Santi. So we hit on a couple tunes that really took off. It was happening, just boom, just like that.
Yeah.
And I thought to have a quartet and bring Julian in on this trio with us was the thing to do.
And Santi and Will, you were working together already? So you had this concert together, and that's where you invited Joe?
Actually, no. There was a book release. I don't remember the name of the book. A jazz gentleman wrote. He worked at the Blue Note. It was a press kind of release party at Lincoln Center. And a lot of my Latin friends were there, and they were asking me to sit in and play. And I just went really to see this book release, and I wound up sitting in. And then Joe walked up to me after the kind of sit-in thing, and he said, "Yeah, man, if you need something, you need me something, or you're doing something, let me know." So when I was organizing this relief concert for Puerto Rico when they had the last storm, I didn't want to perform because I organized it and I put the bands together, and the board kept saying, "Please do something, bring one of your projects, try to do something." So I said, "Well, I'll call Joe." And Joe said, "Yeah, man, I'll do it." And Santi and I work a lot. Santi has these very interesting concerts at his home in Staten Island, where he uses different rhythm sections and different horn sections. So we're colleagues in that aspect. So these were the first two guys that I called, and I said, "We'll play trio." It was amazing. Joe's right. We just kind of went up there and vibed the piece, and it was great. And that's really how it started. So when Joe called me back to say he was going to add Julian to the mix and we were going to record, I was very excited.
I mean, sometimes it works when you're two, and it works when you're three, and it's not a given that it works at four. Was the chemistry immediate between you four in the studio? Was there rehearsal before the studio? Was it how did it go?
Well, we first played in 2023. I had a week at the Village Vanguard, and that was our initial hit.
Yeah.
So it wasn't about recording or anything at all. It was to play a week at Vanguard.
Yeah.
But before we did the gig, I decided we were going to have a rehearsal. I had this music, we were going to play. So, but instead of just having a rehearsal in a rehearsal studio, I booked a day at Rudy Van Gelder's studio, recording studio, one of the most famous studios in jazz.
Yeah.
And we had a rehearsal, but we documented it actually, and in the studio. So that was beautiful to do it like that.
Yeah.
Because then I had some tapes to hear it and listen back, and but just setting up in the studio and hitting like that for the first rehearsal was beautiful. And then we did a week at the Vanguard.
And at the Vanguard, that was the repertoire more or less of the album, or it changed a lot?
It might have changed because since then we toured 2024, and in 2025, when we documented this recording that is being released now, was in February in the middle of a European tour, and we met Manfred in the south of France and recorded live in the studio.
We're going to talk
And
about
made
this
some
time in the
takes.
studio. Yeah.
But prior to that, we had been touring and doing some things. Had another week at the Vanguard, played some dates in the States, festival, the Blue Note Festival at the Hollywood Bowl, and some other things.
Yeah.
So this was our second European tour, I think, in February of 2025. So the group's repertoire had been growing, because every concert we would add things at the sound check. We would add some other tune or some other idea. So right now we have a pretty rich repertoire. This is just a handful of the pieces.
Yeah. This album really moves between sometimes like almost chamber-like intimacy, and then there's like explosive energy, and navigating this range as a group is not always a given thing. It feels extremely flowing on the recording. Was it like that right away on stage at the Vanguard, or?
Well, when you're playing a performance, the sequence of pieces all give you direction for the next piece. And, you try to play a concert set like there's a oneness about it in the flow, the way we play, Yeah. And a lot of interludes, improvisations to set up the next tune, coming out of one tune into the next. We're playing with a really idea about sharing the space.
Yeah.
So during the tour, before we recorded, all of these compositions, every night, had all different energy, each tune.
Yeah.
Then you go in the studio, and especially with Manfred, who's really got great ears and deep feeling about the music, each tune took a different shape as far as like the energy and the ideas and the flow, So the document that is being released was 2 days, but we did it pretty much one day. Second day, we might have played one more tune or something.
And you had decided about the Wayne Shorter track and the Charlie Hayden track already? Was there more non-original in the session, or?
We had more tunes that we could have covered.
Yeah.
But Manfred's idea is to make an LP also. So he doesn't want you to record
Too much.
90 minutes of music and then choose the record.
Yeah.
As soon as you have enough time, session's over, man. You got 40 minutes, 50 minutes, so you have to be real, so you create the music with that in mind also, so you don't try to repeat anything.
Yeah.
As far as the key you played in, or the rhythm of the beat, the tune, But Lady Day of Wayne Shorter's and First Song of Charlie's were two tunes I definitely wanted. I wanted those, and the other ones were also pieces that we wanted to document. Those were the first tunes, and we got beautiful takes on each one, and then we stopped.
Yeah.
Like there's no other tunes in the can, let's say.
Julian, your role sounds both harmonic and, of course, conversational as well. Yeah. How do you approach leading versus being part of a quartet of this shape? It's not.
Yeah. That's a great question. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I think inherently in all of us, there's a deep harmonic, rhythmic, and melodic pulse. There's no assumption that as a chordal instrument that I carry any more or less weight than anyone.
Yeah.
I'm there to kind of exist in the world of timbre and resonance and empathy and listening. It has more to do with that, I think, than what I play. In this band, I could completely lay out and it would all be there.
Yeah.
So you have to be judicious and strategic, but with great humility, I'd say, then there's no risk of stepping in front of someone, because it's not like that. It's not that kind of paradigm.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
understand. Santi, your roots and history brings such a strong grounding to the sound of this quartet. How do you shape the direction of the group as, your position as a bass player?
I don't think of myself as shaping it.
Look at me trying, and they're not
maybe-
just so humble, all of them.
For one thing, I grew up in this music.
Yeah.
I started playing jazz in junior high school, and I started playing the upright bass in elementary school. So I have, I think, a pretty clear idea of the function of the bass in jazz. And one thing that I really enjoy about playing with Joe and playing with this band is that that function can be there and it can be not there, and everyone can still be very comfortable.
And present, yeah.
So that leaves me some room to explore in ways that I might not in other groups.
I see.
Particularly in the, I would say, able to interpret the moment, the now. This is what I think the essence of jazz improvisation really is. Because one thing that Joe has offered me, he said, you start the next song and then we'll get into it from there. So we were doing that on tour. And so I had to play something one night that I loved for that night, but that I wouldn't play again. I wouldn't look for that idea again.
Yeah.
And so the idea is to be in that moment,
In
be
the present,
there and be ready to interpret that moment for your instrument. And I think when we play together, that's the crux of the process for me.
Will, how do you think in terms of space and energy? Is the approach to the idea of space different with this band?
Absolutely. If I can give you two images, I would say you're standing in front of, you're leaving your place, your home, and it's raining outside, and you walk between the raindrops. You don't get wet. Second vision is, when I was a child growing up in the city, I always liked the sound of trains because of the rhythm. One of the fascinating things about being on the other side of the tracks is when the train would go by, you would see a person every 3 or 4 seconds. And my wild imagination was to try to only see the person and not the train anymore. So when you're looking, something is happening, but your vision is only capturing a piece of it. So improvisation for me is really just being open. This is a fantastic ensemble to listen to. I enjoy listening to these three guys and not playing also.
Yeah.
But when I asked Joe, I'll just end on this note. With the friend, I first asked him, so what's your idea rhythmically, Joe? What are you hearing? And he said, well, come as you are.
That's the best answer possible.
So that was, once he kind of said that, that's where that rain kind of example and the train example comes from. It's just really being in a moment and not always being affected by what's happening around you.
Yeah, it's all about trust. Take up the space, okay? Make room for the others, okay? But trusting each other spontaneously and just go for it it's lucky too. Maybe that's the magic you were talking about.
For all of us, we've played in so many settings through the years with all kinds of players and groups. And to have the freedom to shape the music as we move along in that polyrhythmic fashion, we could play 4 different rhythms together and have it layered and having move and feel like something. That would just happen. And also the polytonal idea about
Right.
playing in all keys
Right.
with a focus on tones that have gravity, but to be able to shape in that way.
Yeah.
Also, it's a conception and an approach that we've developed a way as a quartet, but just as individuals, it's something you do. Whoever I'm playing with, I'm these days, I'm trying to initiate things,
Yeah.
and everybody does.
Yeah.
This group. Also, I play the teragato and the G mezzo soprano. So that every time I change instruments, that becomes a different sound, a different group, because just the tonal quality changes of the
Yeah.
group. So throughout the recording, there's moments where I'm switching horns, and on a live concert, that'll happen in just a spontaneous way. I may play 2 phrases on one horn and go back to the tenor.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, are there nights where you play like only one of the horns?
Some tunes I only play the tenor.
Yeah.
Other tunes I switch around.
Yeah.
Other tunes I might play just on the mezzo soprano or just on the teragato. It depends on the flow and what we're doing on the gig, in a concert. In the studio, I was a little more mindful
Yeah,
about
that makes
switching
sense.
around,
Yeah. Let's talk about this time in studio. Manfred Eicher was there. He's like a 5th member of the band, right? He was in a control room listening to everything that was going on. And you said that everything happened mainly in one day. How was this time special in La Buissonne in south of France?
Well, I mean, first of all, the mood was really great
Yeah.
because we were there to do something, to document something. And I remember the very first tune we did, we played it in a certain way, and Manfred didn't think it was the right tune to start the session with. Okay? And he said something. Instead of me saying, oh no, we got to play this, we're playing this. I said, oh yeah? Okay. We played another tune.
Was it his first song? Like, did you start the session with the... Okay.
No, the sequence of, I forget the sequence we
Yeah.
did the
Yeah.
recording in, but the very first tune, the way we played it, he didn't think it was the right tune to start the session. Oh, it could have been Congregation. Could have been that
Right.
the Congregation that's
Right.
on here. So we went to another tune, and we made a take on that, and it was more, he was what he was maybe ready to hear as a first tune of the session. But he also could have been testing the waters and seeing what I would say. You know what I mean? Sure. About that. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, let's play this.
Good.
Then when we came back to that tune, it was the right time to record that tune for him.
Yeah.
And for us too, because we're ready to play any tune, anytime. We could have went into Happy Birthday if we felt it.
Yeah. Your version is great.
Just as an example,
yeah.
So a producer in the studio, especially someone like Manfred that embraces the music, man, he wants to hear the music unfold
Yeah.
and be creative. If you go in there and say 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, he doesn't dig it right away. He can't handle that.
Yeah.
If you count a tune off, forget it. He wants to hear the music go like boom, boo doo bee dee doo dee.
Yeah.
I've been in the studio with him a lot. My first date with the Paul Motion Band in 1981 was my first session and time in the studio with Manfred in Germany. The recording was called Psalm, Paul Motion Band with Billy Drews on saxophones, Ed Schuler on bass, Bill Frisell, and myself. And that was my first experience in the studio with Manfred. That was 1981.
Yeah.
And through the years, many different dates with Paul and Bill, the trio.
Abercrombie, Mark.
Number of
Yeah,
dates.
there's also,
and then, John Abercrombie sessions and Mark Johnson and Steve
Steve
Kuhn,
Swallow.
Steve Swallow a bit,
Yeah.
and Steve Kuhn.
Yeah.
So I've been in the studio with him here in New York. He used to come and we'd do it at Power Station here. But these days he's not flying and traveling so much, so you record.
I mean, what's better than south of France?
Yeah.
Julian, that's your first recording on ECM.
Sure, yeah. It's
What
great.
was this experience?
It was great. It was
Yeah.
amazing. You know, it's so much about the music, you know. You zoom out and you see the cultural reference of the label, obviously. And it's profound, and every one of us grew up listening to that music and interacting with it and learning from it. But it just felt like a date, you know. We were just considering what matters, which is the music and the way it moved us. And Manfred held a strong field for that, you know. He wasn't willing to compromise, and neither was Joe. It was a beautiful thing to just witness.
Yeah.
And then now it's going to come out in the world. That's a bonus, but I'm glad I was there for the session. It was amazing.
We're here in a room with beautiful speakers. We're gonna listen to recorded music. You know, it's rare when we sit together and we enjoy listening to recorded music all together. It's a privilege to do
Thanks
that.
for setting this up, man.
Yeah,
this is a rare.
Thank you for
rare
our
thing.
partner. Yeah, but I was just wondering if any of you have a specific way to listen to music that they really love. Is it listening to the music in a car in the rain, or on shitty headphones while running in the park, or on a very comfortable chair with a good glass of something? Like, do you have a favorite way to listen to music?
I like to listen loud.
Okay. Why
Like
am I
the
not
room, like the
surprised?
band is in the room with you.
Yeah.
And the quality of sound that we're going to be experiencing
Yeah.
now has that effect.
Well,
I'm interested to hear these. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I
That's
was
the
an engineering student in school, and I had a great professor. I was a recording and engineering student in college, and he would always say, when you finish your mixes, play it in the AM speaker, put it on the boombox,
Yeah.
put it on your headphones, put it on your stereo, put it in the stereo in the car.
Yeah.
Try the different formats, and if you can hear all the clarity within all of those mixes, then you're probably on to something. But never listen to it through
One thing, yeah.
through one system. So
Super.
I'm really excited. These are gorgeous speakers, and this is a gorgeous recording. I've only heard on headphones so far.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to hearing them in the room.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Joe Lovano Paramount Quartet with Julien Lage, Asante Santi De Briano and Will Calhoun. Thank you for joining, choosing, and listening to our ECM podcast. This episode was mixed and edited by Luca Demotte. I'm Caroline Fontagneux, and I look forward to sharing more music with you in the next episode.